Welcome back. Governor Walker was actually born in Colorado, but he spent most of his boyhood in Delavan.
Memories of his high school years include a mullet and making a good impression.
And nothing makes a better impression than a mullet. Let's go back to Charles Benson in Waukesha. And Charles, you met someone who knew Governor Walker very well.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Governor Walker pretty much grew up in Wisconsin, born in Colorado, spent some time in Iowa. But his boyhood years were really spent in Delavan, a small town where he learned a lot of his values. I had a chance to talk to one of his teachers, Ann Serpy. She remembers Scott Walker.
This is graduation.
It's been nearly 30 years since Scott Walker graduated from the Delavan Darien High School. Retired chemistry teacher Ann Serpy remembers him well. You knew Scott Walker as a student. What kind of student was he?
Scott was a very good student. He was self-motivated. He was, that's the first thing I think of. You know, he wasn't somebody that you had to chase down and say, get something done.
She says Walker was involved in sports and after-school activities, like student council.
I remember where he sat in class only because of who sat in front and back of him.
It wasn't the mullet that sort of tipped things off?
I think that was pretty typical at that time.
During her 20-plus years in the classroom, she taught thousands of students.
And I remember Scott just kind of as being one of the very good ones, okay? But he wasn't one that I thought was ever going to be the governor.
In fact, after Walker graduated in 1986, she lost track of him. Until one day, she noticed his name years later while walking through Milwaukee's airport.
The sign on the wall said, this building under the auspices of County Executive Scott Walker. And I said to my friend, oh my gosh, I was his chemistry teacher.
They have since reconnected. Serpy calls herself a conservative farm girl, and if Walker wins, she has one request.
Well, I just want to be a Secretary of Education.
We'll see if she gets that appointment. Of course, there's a lot that has to happen before that. And think about it, next year, the governor graduated in 1986, so next year would be his 30th reunion at the high school level. A lot of his classmates are probably wondering what if, when he returns, if he returns to that high school reunion. Of course, that memory of that mullet will never go away. We're live in Waukesha. Charles Benson, today's TMJ4.
But let's face it, most of us rock some bad hairdos years ago.
We don't make fun of old hairdos around here.
We all had them. Thank you, Charles.